I think one of the more intimidating things about college is the instructors seem like so high and mighty and so above you as just a lowly college student that it's very intimidating. And I remember being that way when I was in college, and I had a professor that basically had to yell at me to say, "Call me by my first name," and I wouldn't, I was not calling him by his first name, and he was like, "No, you need to call me by my first name," because he wanted a more familiar attitude. But I just held him in such high esteem that it was hard for me to do that. And I think when they go to this, building and they go to this new experience, it's just, everything is just very intimidating. I would say, in all honesty, I see more of that intimidation now that I've done both concurrent and regular SLIC classes. I see more of that intimidation in the regular SLIC classes. So the concurrent kids, because they know me, I had probably about 2/3 of my class were students I had before, in classes I had before, and they knew me, they knew how to approach me. I was around during lunch and before school and after school and times like that, so it was very easy for them to get help. And with the extra time that's allotted in the concurrent class that you don't have in a standard SLIC class, it's about 50% more time, and that extra time allows for a lot more downtime where I could let them get started on something, like get started on the big end of the class project, and I could go up to them and ask them questions. Are you understanding? They could ask me questions, and I think it worked out really well. So I think that's the best thing that the concurrent class can do is, I don't teach my class easier in the high school. It's the same class I teach when I teach my night classes at SLIC. But having them be able to access someone that they know, I think will help. In my concurrent class, I would just preach over and over, there is no late work on some things. The things that were late had severe late penalties, and even that I think is nice compared to a lot of instructors. And I even put it down in points. Not turning this thing in is worth as much as this whole other assignment that we did. Do you really want to just pretend like you didn't do that assignment? Because that's what it is if you don't turn it in late. That's something about that all students struggle with, even at, probably not as much when you're like in grad school, but undergrads at any university struggle with. Undergrads at SLIC and concurrent kids struggle with keeping things on, keeping track of what needs to be turned in at what time and getting stuff turned in. It's just, that's part of the college experience, and some people are good at it and some people aren't, unfortunately. One thing that is kind of nice about a concurrent classroom is they really get 3 grades. They get a grade for each quarter that goes on their high school transcript, and then they get their SLIC grade. So there were kids that didn't do well in the first quarter, and they didn't have the grade they wanted. They didn't do as well as the midterm, things like that. And there were some kids that kind of turned it around second quarter, realizing, oh, this is a thing, and they got a much better grade on that second quarter grade. They still had the overall course grade, which was an average of those two, basically. But that second quarter kind of allows them a fresh start, which you don't usually get in a college class. I would, take some of them aside, talk to them, say what was going on, bring up some study ideas, talk about ways that I could help them. They didn't take advantage of it as much as I would have liked, but I went to them for that kind of stuff. There's just something I do, no matter if it's concurrent or not. I give students an opportunity to turn in the big project as a rough draft early, and then I give commentary back about, don't forget to do this, you forgot to do that, this thing needs to be fixed, that kind of thing. So I do that in both my regular SLIC class and the concurrent class, and students, there was at least one student that took advantage of that, and it helped him a lot. It definitely at least doubled the points he received on that final project, if not more, if he would have turned it in the way he first presented it. And it was good. It was very good for him to be able to get that and get it fixed. The thing that helped me the most by far was the fact that I've already taught it at Slick. So if that is not an option, it's not going to be an option for everyone. It might be a good idea just to talk with someone that is an adjunct or assistant professor at Slick. What do you do for this class? You know, even just getting a copy of their syllabus might be helpful enough just to see the types of assignments, the types of pace that they use. And I would say don't be afraid to make it as rigorous as you think it should be. I mean, I don't think anyone wants a weeding out type class at the concurrent level. Like, I mean, I don't think that's the place for that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of those types of classes regardless, but the important thing is that you're giving them as close to the college experience, but, you know, with one foot in the door and still in high school.